And I think not having something to fall back on is what really pushed me to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I don't have that cushy 9 to 5 job anymore. I don't have anything else. Like it's either this or nothing.
So how did it feel going into shops and asking for apprenticeships? Because I know that's one of the most intimidating things for someone to do.
It definitely is intimidating. Like there were times where I just like stand in front of it and I'm like, no, I'm not going in.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the IQ Project. I'm right here with my co-host Romeo Shades. How you doing, Romeo?
I'm good.
Cool.
And we're here with
And we're here with Luz Valencia. How
Hi.
you doing?
I'm nervous, but we're here.
You nervous? You already done this. Have you guys seen our last episode with Luz and Megan? Luz is our new artist. Last episode, we started getting a little bit into how she started, but I feel like we didn't get too much in depth with your story. So I kind of wanted to bring you back and kind of get more information on it because I saw we got a lot of great comments about they want to know a little bit more about you. So hope
this is your time.
This is your time. This is your show.
Okay.
Don't be nervous. You done this already.
All right, so what were some of the questions?
Well, first introduce yourself. Let's go back to a little bit for people that have not seen the other podcast. This is Luz. She just started working with us last month. She's been tattooing for what, 2 years?
About 2.5 years.
2.5 years, right? And you're self-taught artist, which a lot of people try to do that right now, become self-taught artists, and a lot of people fail. But you're one of the best ones that. Not one of the best ones. You're not. I'm just kidding.
Okay. You bring me up just to bring me down. Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Nah, you're one of the ones that made it through, and we've seen your growth, especially since you've been here. So yeah, just give us a little bit more background of your start.
All right. So I first started tattooing out of my mom's house. I know that that's not ideal, but I looked for apprenticeships for I would say maybe like 2-3 months. I did talk to Ricky about that,
Mhm.
and he said that I probably could have spent a little more time looking had I been more patient. But I think we talked about this in the podcast last time too. Like I'm a little bit impatient, and like when I want something, I'm pretty tenacious about it, and I want to get it when I want it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it can be a good and a bad thing. But yeah, I started tattooing out of my mom's house, kind of just like tattooing people that I knew, friends, and then kind of went to like friends of friends, and then from there. Um, the shop that I was at before, I guess they saw my work on Instagram and then they reached out and asked me to go work with them. So then that's kind of how I transitioned into like the studio space a little bit.
How was your mom about it growing up? Was she for it, against it?
Growing up, I mean, she's Mexican, so for sure, totally against tattoos. But I think once she saw that it was like something that I was actually passionate about and it was more of a feasible career, she was like more accepting of it. I mean, she let me tattoo out of her house. She practically just rented out a whole room so that I
That's
can,
dope.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
What,
dope.
what about before that? Like, did you grow up with art around you? Did you draw at all?
Yeah. Like I said before, and I feel like I always say this, like I think I was able to draw before I could write my own name.
Dope.
My older sister Melinda, she always like supported my love of the art, like whether it was like drawing, music, or anything. So I didn't really have other people in my family that were into art, but it was more just I guess just my sister and I.
Sick.
And that's something that we're gonna get more on it, but like you had to come back to art, right? Because you had stopped doing it for a while.
Yeah. So when I was in elementary, I was in the choir and I would kind of just like draw. And then middle school was like music and drawing. And then high school was marching band, concert band, jazz band. Like I was like super immersed into like the realm of the arts, but more
What instrument
music.
did you play?
I played the tenor sax and the trombone. Those are my two main instruments. But I also dabbled in a couple different like baritone, the clarinet, the trumpet, a couple different instruments.
Damn.
I mean, so you mentioned you were in choir, so you can sing.
In the shower, yeah.
Come
I'm
on,
really,
Romeo.
I mean, I'm shy like on this podcast. Just imagine,
Hey,
but
no,
It's
Romeo.
like an inside joke because go ahead, tell them.
Go for it. You say it better.
Basically, when during my apprenticeship, I would always go chop it up with their clients and stuff. And a question I always had was like, "Hey, do you know how to sing?" But it was just so random. Like I would come up random, like, "Do you know how to sing?"
Is it like a
Josh would be like, "Really, bro? Like, what are you doing?"
One time he did it to this one client, and he is like, "Yeah," and he's all like, "Can you sing for me?" I was
yeah.
like, he asked the client to sing for him. I was like,
Oh shit.
But yeah, that's why I asked. But no, that's tight that you have multiple talents. It's not just art. You're also
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've just always been drawn to the arts. Like it's the one thing that really just makes me happy. Like I really don't see myself doing anything else now. Like I can't even fathom the idea that I did anything else before this.
Isn't that crazy though? Like, it feels like what you're really meant for is what you always come back to. And I feel like people end up fighting that off over time. Like, they end up giving that up for money.
Mm.
And
Or
event-
for stability, I
Or
think
or
is what it
stability.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like if people tend to stick to what they're good at and what they love, eventually the money comes.
Yeah. And I feel like if you don't know what you love, just try to think back to what made you happy. It could be as simple as skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
If you're good at skateboarding at one point and made you happy, hop back on that board, or it could be anything. If you like drinking, drugs, just not.
I was like,
shit.
cut that one out.
No, but you know what you
We
get
don't
what I
promote
mean.
drugs here.
You get what I mean, though. But yeah, that's cool. Is there anything else that maybe your clients don't know about you? Any other hidden talents that you may have?
Hidden talents.
Because I didn't know that you played instruments and stuff. That's tight. Anything else? Good
No,
at
I mean, I think
tic-tac-toe?
that's it. I mean, just music, jujitsu. I train jujitsu. I think that's pretty much it. I'm pretty transparent. Like with my following on Instagram, I kind of show what I'm about and what I do and stuff.
That's cool.
So let's go back a little bit. You said so after high school, you ended up going to college, right?
Yes, I went to UC
So-
Irvine and studied education and psychology and social behavior.
And you were working in that field for what you went to school for?
Yes. So I did behavior therapy before I graduated. So I got the job before I even graduated. And then I worked with the kids for a while, and then I ended up working for the admin team, so doing scheduling, and I was in an office for what seems like forever.
Oh, so you were working that 9 to 5?
Yeah, 9 to 5. And then what's so funny is like even on my lunch breaks, I would sit and draw.
Mm-hmm.
Like almost every day, I would sit and draw, or like just like go on Instagram and look at other artists' work and stuff like that. Like it was more just like, oh, the one thing I could never have kind
Yeah.
of thing.
So what was that spark, or what was that moment that you realized, like, man, I mean, you're making money, you're stable, doing your job, right? It's a good job. A lot of people would want that job. But where did you decide, like, I'm a tattoo? I'm going to quit this. I'm going to just tattoo.
Well, I didn't quit. I was fortunate enough to be laid off.
Okay.
Because to be quite honest, I don't think that I would have quit that job as much as I hated it
Mm-hmm.
and as unhappy as I was. I don't think that I would have quit it because I didn't want to be unstable.
And I think that's the fear that a lot of people feel about it, you know?
Yeah, pursuing your dreams is scary because it's uncertain.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is like a blessing getting laid off.
Yeah, it was definitely a blessing in disguise because yeah, I don't think I would have quit that job. But yeah, I got laid off, and like for a while I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I have to go into the field that I studied for, because if not, then like what was it all for?
Mhm.
Like why did I go to school? But I think we talked about this before. Like I spoke to Vince, he's a tattoo artist at Tattoo Revolution.
Mm.
And he's kind of the one that sparked the interest in like going into actually tattooing.
So you just bought a machine online on
Yeah.
Amazon?
Amazon tattoo machine, and then I started practicing on my sister Esmeralda. Man,
And she trusted you?
yeah, Esmeralda, if you're watching this, you're a real one. I love you. And she has like that perfect like just paper white skin, so it was like the perfect skin to practice on.
That's a blessing and a curse, because it's good skin to tattoo if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, no,
If you don't-
I had no idea what the fuck.
So
I
if
was
you don't know what you're doing on good skin like that, then you see all your mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, luckily I was able to go back and like fix the ones that I had done.
Yeah.
God.
That's cool. That's pretty cool of your sister to let you do that.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
gem. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
'cause-
sister and my brother Adrian too. He let me tattoo him. Like my siblings, man, growing up, I didn't have much need for friends because I had my siblings. My siblings are, I would say, my support system for sure.
That's cool. I mean, I could understand the whole kind of starting up yourself. It's stressful, You want to get to a certain level you see on Instagram and everything, but
Comparing yourself all the time.
yeah, comparing yourself and you can't get there. You can't manage to get there because you're trying to figure it out at the same time. I mean, I had the same kind of deal where I started off learning with Ricky. We worked together for like a year in his garage. He ended up moving away, and then I kind of just started doing everything myself. I would go to people's houses and tattoo.
I did that too for a while. And to be honest, it was kind of scary at times.
It is scary. Honestly, like looking back, I was like, I don't know how the fuck I did that.
Yeah, I can't
Because
believe I did that. Just going to random strangers.
what I would do is I'll take my younger sister with me. I'll be
That's
like,
even worse.
yeah, I would be like, hey, you want to help me out? You want to make $20? So she'll be there with me till like 12, 1 a.m. tattooing.
Your security guard or what?
Yeah, just chilling. Like if I needed like something, I'd be like, hey, just give me this, or make me napkins, or do this and that. And then, but at the same time, I was working a different job. And then I was going to school full time. So tattooing, when I was doing that, I wasn't taking it serious. It was just I needed money on the side. I did it, you know. But I think learning how to tattoo back in the day was a lot different than learning now. 'Cause
Yeah,
all
it's
the-
definitely a lot easier now. Like you got YouTube, like
yeah.
Instagram, like everybody, posting videos on how to.
Back then, like I would go on YouTube and be like, let me see how to do this. And it's like when YouTube had already YouTube was already out for a while, but I would go in there and be like tattooing information or anything about tattooing, how to tattoo, nothing was on there. And then how to fix a machine, because back then we used coils and I needed to learn how to fucking fix it. And I couldn't find no information on it. So what I had to do when one of my coils was broken is I would go to a tattoo shop by my house and be like this old guy tattooer. It was like, what'd you need? I was like, I want to see if you could show me how to fix this machine. And he just looked at me and gave me that face like, it was like, it'll be $50. I was like, what?
To show you how to fix it.
No. He's like, $50 to fix it. I was like, are you gonna show me though? He's like, no, just $50 to fix it. And I needed the machine because I was tattooing that afternoon. But all right. And then he'll go take it to the back, fix it real quick, and then he's like, here you go. They wouldn't even test it for me there. I had to go home and test it and see if it worked or not. So I had to do that like a couple times. And then I think not till I was already tattooing for 5 years is when we started seeing the bishops and all that come out.
All the rotaries.
All the rotaries come out. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Started with the rotary, so it was pretty easy for me.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, never mind.
What?
I was gonna say I remember when I used to teach you and stuff, but. But did you ever have any of those questions like when you were barely starting?
Oh man, I had so many fucking questions, and I was just like, man, I'm gonna have to figure this out because like it's either this or nothing at this point, And I think not having something to fall back on is what really pushed me to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I don't have that cushy 9 to 5 job anymore. I don't have anything else. Like it's either this or nothing.
So how did it feel going into shops and asking for apprenticeships? Because I know that's one of the most intimidating things for someone to do.
It definitely is intimidating. Like there were times where I just like stand in front of it and I'm like, no, I'm not going in. And it was a lot easier. Like now, with Instagram, you could just like message shops and stuff. So that's where I did most of it. Like I would just message them.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you kind of know me. I'm a very nervous person. I'm like, I think just walking in there and them seeing me and how nervous I would be, then they'd probably be like, nah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because most shops, like, we won't, if you don't come in person, we won't even talk to you for apprenticeships because we need to know what kind of person you are.
Yeah, and if you really want it, you go.
Exactly.
Did you have in mind of what you were looking for when you went to these shops, or did you just like, oh, whatever shop it was?
I think at that point I was just kind of like whatever shop would teach me or whoever would teach me because I think I wasn't really in a position where I could be picky on what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever
So you
gave
just
you that
want to
chance.
get into tattooing, but you didn't know about styles and things like that.
I mean, I know about styles for
Okay.
sure. I didn't know what environment I would want. I
Mhm.
kind of just wanted somebody to teach me. And then once I kind of learned a little bit of it, then I can be a little bit more selective with what shop I would want to be with.
Okay. And I feel like that's the mistake a lot of people do though, because that's what I tell people is look into what kind of style you want to go into and then go see those shops that do that style.
Right.
Because if you're gonna learn traditional and then you want to go work black and gray, well guess what? Now you gotta start all over again because yes, you could pass some of those fundamentals down, but in reality it's completely different. When we're doing black and gray or even color realism, you got to think differently than when you're doing a traditional piece. And I feel like the people that are teaching you traditionally are not going to be able to teach you those same methods when you're doing realism. So
Yeah, I don't know. I was under the impression that like each shop had like one person that did like something,
yeah.
you know, so like a well-rounded kind of shop. I didn't know that there were shops like specific for
Hmm.
certain types of styles.
Yeah.
Now I know, obviously.
See, I remember when Romeo came in to ask for an apprenticeship, we put him on the spot bad.
Yeah.
Carlos put him on camera.
Dude,
Oh, really?
I
For his
have it.
interview,
They
bro.
all have everything on film.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
It's on YouTube. Check it out.
I'm gonna have to look
He
that one
came
up.
to ask for a job, and fucking Ricardo, I was tattooing. And he's like, hey, Josh. I was like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is this? I was like, oh, I want to see if you guys are hiring. I was like,
I didn't say it like that, but yeah, go on.
yeah. I was like, hey, bro, I'm tattooing, but Ricardo could talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ricardo's fucking recording for the vlog, and fucking, he's like, all right, but you're gonna be on camera right now.
Yeah, that.
Dang.
What was it like? Do you want this job or some shit?
They just asked me just a bunch of questions. It's all on film, but what I do remember clearly was that when they had asked for my permission to film me, I'm like, sure. When I looked to my right, Carlos's camera was like right here. Bro. I'm like, what the
Oh, that's when he had that fucking close-up lens.
for real, dude? So Luz, when you were barely getting into tattooing, I knew I wanted to do realism or like I wanted to do faces and stuff like that. Did you know you wanted to do practice because right now you're doing black and gray realism? Did you know you wanted to get into that, or were you just doing
Yeah.
small tats and?
I didn't want to do small tattoos. I think that's why I started doing bigger tattoos a lot sooner than I should have. Um I don't want to say that I regret doing some tattoos because I don't. It was a learning experience, but I do wish that I would have looked for help a lot sooner.
Mm.
Well, let's be honest. Like, how many mental breakdowns did you have starting? Because I mean, we all went through
One
it.
right
You know, we still go through it nowadays.
Yeah.
I would say maybe like once or twice a week if I'm being
Yeah.
completely honest.
But you kept going.
Yeah.
You know.
So I'm like, yeah, it sucks right now, but it's gonna be worth it.
What was
you
the what
know?
was the thought process like of when you're pushing yourself? Like when you feel like, damn man, this thing's not coming out good. Is even for me. What was it? The thought process for you of wanting to continue?
To be honest, I would just tell myself like I don't want to do anything else. It has to be this.
Mm. It's that love for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Like I don't want to do anything outside of the arts.
Cool.
Like I don't. I would picture myself in the office again. And I'm like I don't want to go back to that mundane life. I don't.
Yeah, and I feel like um there are a lot of artists that don't have that 9 to 5 back experience, but I do think that sometimes it is beneficial to have because you kind of realize like, man, or you're a little bit more grateful to be tattooing because you knew that you didn't love that 9 to 5, you know, so it gives you more of appreciation for tattooing.
Did you ever work in an office?
No.
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 I did it for 6 months.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Like paperwork stuff.
Phone calls, being on the phone the whole time, fucking horrible.
Dealing with people is just
This is that whole, like, you know how in the movies they show you like when you go into an office and it's just cubicles, and
Oh,
you're just
okay,
in your own
yeah.
little cubicle and you're just like all like
or
depressed.
it's like that Squidward gif. Have you seen it where he's just sitting there? He's like in the oh no, not Squidward. It's like another fish. It's like SpongeBob.
Uh,
Like he's sitting in his office, it's like the same face. Then he's sitting in a car, same
Oh,
face.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like the same thing over and over. And then you're just like wondering, like, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
I mean,
Yeah,
some
that-
people they like it.
Right.
People like stability, and that's one of the things for tattoo artists is it's not stable. I mean, we're all realizing it right now, especially in this market. It's really slow for a lot of people, and
Mhm.
I feel like this is a time where a lot of people are gonna quit because,
Or not even quit, but like maybe take a pause from it.
yeah,
Like a pause from tattooing because
Mhm.
they need to go get their money. Obviously, you know, you have stuff that you need
Mhm.
to pay and stuff. But
Right.
there are those
we're
artists where you had to sit through that pain, that struggle.
yeah. I mean, and we're gonna see who really pushes it. You know, we see a lot of shops right now. They're gonna close too. A lot of private shops are gonna close too because a lot of people that thought during COVID because it was really really good. You know, they went to go to open a private shop and now they're really really slow. Hey guys, just want to take a little quick break and thank you guys for supporting our channel and watching this episode.
Yeah, guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have any ideas that you would like us to discuss, feel free to leave them in the comments. And also, a like goes a long way.
Don't forget to share and subscribe if you like this episode.
This is a question that I get a lot from my clients. If I plan on opening my own shop, do you plan on having your own studio, your own shop, or anything?
I do, but not anytime soon, I don't think. Like we had mentioned in the podcast before this one, I want to be able to see what a successful shop looks like before I can actually run one. But when I do eventually open one, I would hope for it to be all females.
Oh yeah,
Cool. No, I'm just kidding.
no, that's cool. What's the reason behind that?
So the reasoning behind it is I know that all of my female clients just feel more comfortable with the female artists.
Yeah.
And I've also gotten feedback from my male clients that they feel more comfortable
Hmm.
with the female artists.
Interesting.
That'd be pretty cool to see. I know there's a few shops already like that. But I don't think anywhere around here that I know of, I think there was a TV show about one all female shop,
Hmm.
tattoo shop. Yeah. That's pretty cool. What made you decide to put that on hold?
I realized just how little I know about the tattoo industry.
Okay.
What, from like the art perspective or like business?
Everything really. I feel like the more I get into the industry, the more I realize how much I don't know. Kind of. It's kind of like the same with jujitsu. Like right now that I'm a little bit, I guess, further into it, I'm realizing like I know a lot less than what I actually thought that I knew.
Yeah. Same here. Because you're what, 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same. 2 years into tattooing. So yeah, it's like kind of like barely like getting our feet wet, right?
Yeah, definitely. And then just seeing how this shop runs is just completely different than what I've seen before. And this is the kind of shop that I would hope to run one day. It's very, very inclusive, nice and clean. You come in here, everybody greets you. Customer service is like number one priority, which is something that I focus on a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing we decided to do because when we started the shop, we were in the same boat. We didn't really know too much about the industry. Ricky only worked at a shop for 6 months on and off. And I worked at a tattoo shop for a couple years in San Diego. But that shop was run way different than we run it here. So I think when we decided to open the shop, we were not going to follow the traditional rules of how a shop is run. We're like, well, let's just run it how we think we're going to run it. And we've had artists that had fought us about that. So I think now that's why we're more picky on who we let in, because that mentality that people used to have back then, I'm not saying it's bad, but it just wasn't working for us, So we wanted people that come in with better, I guess,
Just willing to adapt to the newer stuff.
exactly, but more towards people skills, because artists, for some reason, back in the day, I think that's one tradition that I don't like that passed down is how you treat clients. I don't think you should treat your clients like shit, even if they don't show up.
Don't bash them.
Don't bash them. Don't post them on Instagram. Don't fucking post your whole conversation on this, that. It happens. Oh well, move on to the next one.
Right.
You should always keep that respect, that professional respect towards your clients. At the end of the day, you're providing a service for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always giving my clients the benefit of the doubt if they did happen to cancel.
Yeah, me too. I mean, life happens. It happens to us too.
Mhm.
Occasionally we have to cancel or reschedule. So I mean, it's
Not only that,
understandable.
like, I mean, the times that we're in, financially, maybe they don't have the money for it.
that
So
too.
But then again, it's like, I would say clients don't understand because it's not like a regular job. Like we're getting a paycheck. We're counting on. There's a reason why we take that deposit is because we're counting on that money already, right? And that's how we get paid. We don't work, we don't get paid.
Yep.
And some of them don't understand that, and I feel like that's where we have to educate clients on that. Like you gotta let us know at least in advance so we can have time to reschedule you, so we can actually get our money for the week.
yeah, very
You
That
know?
was definitely the most difficult thing for me when I had first started too. I think
Yeah.
it's because people were like, she's just starting. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
right.
So I'd get a lot of cancellations or reschedules like last minute or even like it'd be like at the time of their appointment, hey, sorry, I'm not going to show up. And I'm just like, okay.
That's the worst. And then you're over here eating fucking sopa de vaso.
Noodles.
A cup of noodles, yeah. No, I mean that's I know emergencies happen, but I feel like the more we've done this, and the more this is an important thing for artists to realize is your time is worth money, right? So if they're willing to separate some time of your day, they should be willing to pay a deposit. Have a higher deposit rate, and the less cancellations you're gonna get, and that's how you get more serious clients as well.
Mm.
Because if they're only paying $50 deposit, which that's how I started, $50 deposit, but I was getting fucking about 10, 15 cancellations a month. It wasn't working out. You put that deposit up to 200, 300. A lot of people are not going to cancel.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that change.
Yeah. Um, Plus, that deposit goes towards the price. So at the end of the day, that day they don't feel like they're paying that much because they already paid some money in front. You know?
Yeah. When did you decide to do deposits, or did you always off start?
No, it wasn't until like a couple months after. It was actually until I started working at that studio in LA.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I was like, I need to ask for deposits so people can take me more seriously.
So you started working in the studio in LA. How many months after you started tattooing?
I think it was about six. I want to say about 6 months,
Hmm.
or about 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
And you're doing
That's pretty
small
good.
bangers at home?
Yeah, just like small stuff, or not even all that small, to be honest. I had done like a couple like bigger ones. It was this one like a dragon piece that I had done on one of my, I guess, friends from high school. It was
Mm.
like from his shoulder like down here, and man, I didn't tell him like while I was doing it, but the stencil was just like wiping off, and I was like, fuck, like I don't want to like apply the stencil again because he's gonna think like I don't know what I'm doing. So I like freehanded the whole fucking thing, and at the end I was like, damn, I really did that.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Do you remember what you were charging around that time?
like I think like $20.
Yeah.
Yeah, like or just like pay me for the
Yeah.
like the supplies. It wasn't until like I started doing like a little bit like bigger stuff that I started charging like a little bit more.
See, I always go back to that because when I first started tattooing, I didn't know how to charge people.
Yeah, I mean to this
I
day I still feel a little
Yeah.
iffy about like how to charge, but
I think when I was working at home, I think the most I ever charged someone was fucking like $200, you know?
Mm.
And then when I got to a shop and I was like, because I knew I was gonna get 50% of my cut, I was like, 400. And they're like, that's it? All right.
They're
Fuck,
like,
whenever
"Wow."
you get that, that's it.
that's it. Oh my god, I'm always like, dang.
Should have gone. You know what? It's gonna be 400 for that, but then I still gotta add this little tone of white, so it's gonna be an extra. No,
So
I'm just
1,000.
kidding.
No, no, I
Yeah.
remember I had this one client. Oh my god, I had done like some flowers on her shoulder, and at the end of it, she asked me the price, and I told her, and she was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Fuck, she thinks that's a lot." That was like when I had like
Yeah.
started bringing my prices up, and then she was like, "That's it?" And I was like, "Oh." Oh my god, I was like, "You're fucking with my feelings right now." 'Cause, like, I thought it was like expensive because that was the first time I had ever charged like that much. And she
Mhm.
was like, "I fully came in here expecting to spend like this much," and I'm like, "Dang, like people really think that that's what my art is worth, and I don't even value myself at
Yeah.
that."
And if that person's willing to pay you that much for that art, then there's other people like that out there. That's why I don't negotiate. I mean, you seen me.
Mhm.
Like when people tell me, "Hey," like I get my full rate, and they tell me, "Hey, can you do it for this much instead?" Like, no, bro. Like, I feel like my day is valued at this point, because all the work I'm gonna put into it.
Mhm.
If you can't appreciate that, then I guess I'm not the artist for
And
you.
it's not even the work that you're going to put into it. It's like all the time and energy you put into learning how to do your craft.
Exactly.
Like that's what you're charging for,
Yeah. I
essentially.
mean, yeah, exactly. Like it would take me before fucking 3, 4 hours to do a rose. Well, guess what? Now I learned how to do it all that time that I practiced. Now I can do it in 2 hours. You know,
Yeah.
it's pricing is always hard. It's especially when you're first beginning. It's scary because it's not a for sure like how to do it. So you kind of have to fill it out. You got your clients tell you how much you're worth at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm always
So
kind of scared to tell people how long I've been tattooing because they look at my work and they're like, "Oh, well, you've been tattooing like 5, 10 years." I'm like, "No, I've only been tattooing for 2.5 years."
Mhm.
And then that's when they're like, "Oh,
you
like
know,
only 2.5 years," and they
yeah.
get a little iffy.
Yeah, that's annoying, dude.
Yeah.
But then
It's
it
like,
goes crazy though, because you seen those people that do those big ass fucking pieces that only been tattooing for 3 years.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys.
It's gonna be loose, bro, because she's
Yeah, I know.
hella
Like-
quick, dude.
Right? Yeah. Oh,
That's something we
talk.
That's something we talk about at the shop. Like with you mainly, it's just like, dude, how are you so fast? What
Yeah.
are any tips that you want to give maybe some artists at home or even other artists at shops?
I didn't really think about it until you brought it up. Like, you're like, how do you do it? I know Tony was just like fucking around the other day. He's like, oh, her secret's 25 mags. I'm like, no,
It's 27.
27. But then I really started to think about your question, like, how do I do it? One of the things that I like to do is, like how I mentioned to you, I like to study the image beforehand, and I'll do the stencil like by hand, and I'm studying the image as I do the stencil, and I'm already thinking of like what tones I'm gonna use while I'm like creating the stencil.
Yep.
That's
Game plan.
Yeah, that's like the only thing that I can kind of
Mhm.
think about that I do. Other than that, I don't know. It's just like I get in the zone and I just, I do
You don't
it.
find yourself overthinking during the tattoo? Or because of that game plan, you feel like everything's just smooth?
I think now I don't overthink much. Before I used to a lot. Like
Mhm.
before I would do the tattoo, during the tattoo, and even after, I'd be like, "Fuck."
She'll go to the bathroom like, you could do this.
I mean, kind of, yeah.
She's like, do you guys have fucking cameras in there or what, bro?
No,
Don't you?
I remember Tony's client one time. He was like, yeah, I would just go to the bathroom and be like, you got this. You got this.
Like to finish his
Yeah,
sentence.
he'll fucking be yelling. He's like, yeah, you got this.
Power poses.
Yeah, he comes back. He's like, let's go. That's crazy. So how long did you work at that shop for?
I want to say about a little under a year,
Mhm.
actually. Yeah, I was there for maybe like 10 months or so, I think.
And then you went back to a private shop.
Yeah, I was renting like a little room in San Dimas, and I was working out of there for like about 6 months, and then I was just like at the little beauty spot where I was renting the space too for about 8 months, I think.
Hmm. So that whole time you were there, did you ever feel like you just got stuck?
Definitely, and that's what led me to reach out to you guys.
Mhm.
Because like I said, like I would see both of you posting all the time, and it's like every time like you would post something that was like better and better, and I'm like, fuck, I feel like all my work is just the same. Like it kind of like my skills plateaued, and
Mhm.
I feel like I need the competition, like the friendly competition. Like I see you doing something, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do something better next time. Like composition's gonna be better or
no.
something. I'm gonna do it faster.
Faster. You got me on that one, bro. Like, fuck.
But yeah, I think like working by myself, it was, I guess it was okay, but I feel like I need
Be
like
surrounded by other
I need to be
artists.
surrounded by other artists and just like
Yeah.
that community.
Yeah. Especially like when you could just go walk over and be like, okay, fuck,
Yeah.
he's doing that.
Hmm.
Or not even that, but also like for me, I love going over to everyone's spot, knowing that you guys aren't tripping, and then also that if I have a question about something, you guys are like open books, and I love that. Like, there's a lot of times where I bring my client over to Ricky, just be like, yo, what do you think about this? And I just love having that atmosphere to have you guys around and stuff. So I think, yeah, I mean, it's beneficial to have people in the same mindset.
Yeah.
Definitely. And one thing that I really appreciate is like at first when you guys would come up to my work, I'm like, fuck, they're judging me. They're like
Nah, it's
picking my
not like
piece
that,
apart.
bro.
And instead I get like, oh, how are you doing this? Like you want my input on like what I'm doing. And I'm just like, I don't think I've ever had that before.
Mm.
It's more just like, oh, you should do this, like kind of like judging what
Mhm.
I'm doing. So now it's kind of like it's being flipped a little bit, and it's kind of nice to like it's nice knowing that you want my input.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like you figured out a system where it works for you. Obviously, what I like about the shop too, like everybody being able to talk to each other, is that we'll suggest techniques.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to you if you want to use them or not. But like, I get techniques from Tony all the time. I mean, and then it goes back and forth. Also, like when I'm placing a stencil, you already have a plan in your head. But what I like to do is I like to get three artists' ideas, like, or opinions, not ideas, and be like, hey, what do you think of the stencil? And then they always fucking go bigger.
And it's hard.
Go
bec-
bigger.
Yeah.
it's hard because it's something that you have to put your pride down, because like
Yeah.
there's so many times where this guy will come over and he'll just be like, do it this way, and it's on my head. I'm just like, I like the way I'm doing it,
Mm.
but it's just one of those things, you put your pride to the side, and I end up doing it months later, and I'm like,
Months later.
I should listen to this fool. It's one of those things, just every time you guys suggest something, just
Yeah.
put your pride to the side and at least try it.
I mean, that's not just for you. It's like for us too. Like I said, I take tips from Tony. I just took a tip from Brian. Yeah, I mean, how to pack things in.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck didn't I think of that? But I feel like we get stuck in our own little routines, and like you said, where we see it's working, but we just hit that little bump where it's not working no more,
Yeah.
and then you just got to hear from someone else. You're like, all right, let me try this instead,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
But that's cool that you decided to go to a shop to get that, you know. How do you say it?
It could be, yeah, it could be
Motivation,
motivation. It could be
inspiration.
like
I was gonna say that whole communal kind of
just having a community or what.
community back like around
Yeah, I'm
you.
definitely a social person. I don't I feel like I don't thrive when I'm by myself
No.
because I need that energy to feed off of. I'm a very competitive person, so I need that competition. Like even if it's just like friendly competition. Like I love the fact that I'm surrounded by all of you guys. You guys are all so fucking talented. It
Mm.
makes me want to push myself to do better. That's why I like that Egyptian piece. I was like, we're gonna do that shit big as fuck. I'm gonna do that quick. Show these guys. Like I remember Kim was like, dang, you're knocking that out. I was like, yeah. Deep down inside, I was like, fuck. I was stressing, dude.
Yeah, you did finish first, huh? Compared to everybody else. I forgot what I was doing that
I
day.
feel like I have to like prove myself, especially like being a chick.
Mm,
I feel like I have to like prove myself and like really push myself.
nah. I mean,
I think here, definitely not.
yeah.
You know, like because I feel like
I'm noticing that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are all super chill. Like
I mean
I
your
feel it
work
here.
your work speaks for itself.
And you have your own style to it.
Hmm.
And that's what's pretty dope about it. Like, it doesn't look like anyone else's here, but it feels like you put in double the work for it, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to, what's it
Prove
called?
anything.
Yeah, prove anything.
Mhm.
When did you decided to, because when I started following you, I think you popped up into my page because at the time I was doing a lot of floral pieces.
Yeah.
And I saw you posted one of the floral pieces. I was like, man, I like this composition she did. And I just saw your page and I just saw more flowers. I was like, okay, let me follow her. And I think that's when I sent you her page too, right? Because you just started. I was like, look, check out her lining.
Mhm.
Look how she does it kind of flawlessly, you know. And then you just started. I started seeing you doing more realism after that. When did you decide, like, okay, I'm gonna go into realism now?
So I always wanted to do realism. I just I didn't think that I could.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that like right now a lot of like the minimalism is like in, like everybody wants it. So I was like, okay, that's where the money's at. That's what I want to do. And then I was doing it and I was like, this is fun, it's cool, I'm making money, but it wasn't really fun anymore. Like I found
Yeah.
myself going to work like, okay, another fucking flower.
Yeah.
Or like more like line work. And it's cool. I got a lot of practice and my lines are pretty good. But I didn't find myself like lit up to go to work
Yeah.
anymore. And I was like, well,
You start feeling like you're in a routine again.
yeah, I
Yeah.
felt like I was stuck in a rut. And I feel like I'm the kind of person that I need constant change or else I get bored and I'm just like not happy anymore.
Was there any tactics that you did to try to practice a realism piece? Did you do a
Um,
sale? Did you?
I stenciled it out. I'm just kidding.
You're like-
No, yeah, I did. Or like I would ask like certain people, like, hey, like I'll do this for free. Just let me like practice on you kind of
Okay,
thing.
cool.
Mm.
Yeah, that always works. Some
No, you would think that people would want like free tattoos, but a lot of people were like, nah.
Oh, okay.
Like it's not like their style. I feel like people who get realism tattoos, they go to people who know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know, for some reason, like when I would offer like the free tattoos, they were like, nah, I prefer like line work. Like, oh, do you do lettering?
But I think that's because you were posting lettering and line work so much at that time.
Probably, yeah.
I think if you would have done drawings and post those drawings and just keep posting drawings of
Yeah,
realism.
once I started, I did one of Israel Adesanya. It's one of my favorite fighters.
Mhm.
After I had posted that one, people were like, oh, she can draw it. Maybe she can tattoo it. And
Yeah.
then that's kind of like when I started doing more of the realism.
No.
And then after that Kobe tattoo, that's when people were like, oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Like, you post what you get, or you get what you
You get what
post.
you post for sure. That's
Yeah.
why I don't post like any like lettering. I don't even do lettering anymore because
You
of
get
that.
clients that tell you, "Why don't you post my picture?"
No,
Yeah.
no. Like sometimes, like I'll post one and then like they'll say something petty, but hardly ever. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, if you want to do that type of style, you post it. Yeah. Well, Ricky calls it what? Social proof. It's your social proof. If you can, if you could draw it, you can most likely tattoo it.
Yeah. That's cool. So now, where do you feel like you're at right now compared to when you first started?
Where do I feel like I'm at
Yeah, like art
in
wise.
terms of I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. I feel like it's a lot of us here. I just feel like I
Well,
need to improve. Like I look at my work now and I'm just like, oh, that could have been better.
so do
This
you
could have
feel
been
like
better.
you're starting fresh? Not since you got in here, like you have to start fresh, and now you're like, you know how we always have we start from a certain like why can't I speak today? I know it's too much fucking. It's your
Caffeine. Too
little
much
drink.
caffeine.
No, well, you know how we all have phases, right?
Mhm.
Do you feel like you just passed your second phase and now you're starting your fresh new third phase?
I feel like I'm passing my like this is my second phase.
Second phase? Okay.
What does this other phase consist of? Like, what is your goals
I
for
think
it?
well, the first one was more me just trying to figure things out, figure out my style, and kind of figure out how to market myself and kind of just create that foundation. And I
You're
feel like
good at that. You're really good at that. Marketing yourself, and you basically created your own brand. And I think like on social media, you have a great following of people that really support you.
and I think that just comes from engaging with your audience. Like I said, I'm pretty transparent. Like on
Mhm.
Instagram, I don't post every single little thing because I'm not like walking around with my phone. But
Mhm.
I do try to be transparent. Like when I'm going through something, like I'll post it. If I have like health issues or something, I let my following know so that they're not just like, "Oh, why didn't she tattoo today?"
Mhm.
I think it's more just me overthinking everything. So
Where'd you get
try
all
to do
this
that.
from? Like, being social, like being on social media a lot, being transparent on social media.
Um, well, one of the things that I did, I think you did it too, right? The with
Oh, with
Reese.
Reese? Yeah.
So I enrolled in this course with Reese Hilborn. I'm not sure if you know who she is. I think
You show me.
yeah.
Hmm.
So it's called Inspired, and it's like marketing specifically for tattoo artists on Instagram. So I feel like that did help a little bit, like with like prompts and stuff like that,
Okay.
like what to post on your story. But more, I just wanted people to see who like the face behind like the tattoos, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. Like if people know who you are, they're gonna want to come to you. And it's like anything, like with clothing or shoes. You don't buy the clothes and shoes because of the way it looks. You buy it because of the person who made it, usually, right? Like you want to support that person.
Right.
Thank you. Not a lot of artists realize that. I mean, I just had this talk with Richie.
No, I mean it makes
Yeah.
sense, right? Like with like Kylie Jenner. People don't buy her makeup and stuff because it's actually good. They buy it because they like her.
Right.
And like with Kim Kardashian, like the Skims thing. A lot of people talk shit about it, but they buy it because they like her.
Mm. I don't know what Skims is, but
Yeah.
you're too like.
It's
Like, what?
it's a
Yeah.
girl talk.
I heard Kim Kardashian. I'm like,
Oh,
I know
okay.
who that is.
Yeah.
I mean, I know about that stuff, and I pick up on that because I'm like people don't buy that stuff because it's actually good. They're just like, oh, I want to buy it because like it's what's in right now.
Mm.
Yeah, did this uh what was that, the name of the girl?
Reese.
Reese, yeah. Did she or that platform help you with anything business related, like charging or
Oh, definitely. She's actually the one who pushed me to start charging by the hour. And at first I was like, no, I don't want to.
mm.
And then it was actually right after that that one client was like, really? That's how much you're charging? And I was like, I thought it was a lot, but it actually wasn't. Like I feel like I'm still undercharging a little bit, but I'm getting more comfortable with what I'm
Mhm.
charging now, for
Right.
sure.
Is there anything that you did just to get more business inclined? Maybe any videos, books,
Oh, definitely. I watch a lot of like YouTube stuff.
YouTube stuff?
Um,
So, what's one of the hardest things are for people to do, especially for marketing on social media, is showing yourself on camera. How hard was that for you? Because I know it was hard for us. I mean,
it's definitely hard, man. I had to like prep myself before coming to this podcast. Like
I know she was in the bathroom screaming. I told you, I heard it.
almost threw up. I am an incredibly nervous person, but like on Instagram, if you see me post a video of me talking, just
Mm.
know that there was like 20 takes
Yeah.
before that one video was posted. Because I'll start and then I'm like, oh no, fuck, I fluffed that word. Fuck, now I gotta go
Yeah.
back, and then I end up like reciting it. So then I end up like it seems flawless when I post the video, but just know that it took a lot to post that one fucking
Damn.
10-second video.
A lot of work.
It's a lot of fucking
I'm
work.
the opposite. I'm like, I'll retake it like twice, and then I'm just like, fuck it, I'm posting it.
No, and I also wanted to seem like genuine, I don't want
Yeah.
it to be like scripted or anything. So when I post something, I'm like, no, that sounded a little, I don't know, weird. Like I want to come
Mhm.
off of as, as who I am. Like I want to seem genuine.
Yeah.
So I think like the more I do it, the more relaxed I get, and I'm like, okay, it flows a little bit
And
better.
do you feel like doing all that videos and branding yourself when your clients come in? Do you feel like they already know you a little bit?
Oh yeah, like sometimes they're like, "Hey, how was your trip?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know that you looked into my life like that." Like, okay, let's
Yeah.
talk. You know.
Yeah.
So it's really nice. Like when they do come in, then we have like a jumping off point, like
Yeah.
what to talk about.
Yes,
And that's
yeah, go ahead.
no, yeah, that's one thing that I've gotten from my clients. They're like, "Oh, I really like that you post about like your life on your stories because then I feel like I know you and I feel more comfortable coming in to get the tattoo."
And having something to talk about.
Yeah. And what's funny is when like initially I only posted pictures of the tattoos that I was doing. And then when I did that inspired thing with Reese, she was like, you need to show your face. And I'm like, I don't want to have to do that.
Mhm.
But then I started doing it. And then I posted a picture and I had this tattoo artist. I don't even know his name. But he sent me a message. Like he sent me my own picture. Like I wasn't following him. He wasn't following me or anything. Um, if you're watching this, just know that you helped me a little bit. But
How so?
he what did he say? He's like, "Oh, when you care more about the way you look than your tattoos." Kind of saying like I cared more about my appearance than like
Oh,
putting
what
work
a
into my
dick.
tattoos. And I thought about responding that night. So he sent a message like at 9 p.m. that night.
Was it a private message or was it a comment?
No, it was a message. Like he
Oh,
sent
okay.
me my own picture through DM, like saying that. And I was just like, okay. Like it bothered me, but I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna respond right now.
Mhm.
I'm gonna wait. And then the following day I actually had a meeting with Reese. So then I asked her, I was like, I don't know how to quite respond to this, because like you're telling us to show our face and I did it and now someone's like talking shit about it. And then she was like, well, just kill him with kindness. Like, what's the worst that can happen? So then I was gonna go back and like tell him like, oh, thank you, whatever. And the message had been deleted and he blocked me. So I was like, oh,
What a
okay.
douchebag.
And then what's funny is like the next day I got a message from this from a client. She was like, "Hey, I really like that you're posting about yourself. Like, I like that you post pictures of yourself. I'd like to book an appointment." And I was like, "Oh, okay. So this guy's over here talking shit, but I'm getting clients because I'm posting my
Because
face."
yeah.
Well, in a way, you gotta think about it. You're doing something right if you took the time to fucking copy your picture and then send it to you with the fucking message like that.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? When in reality, that's not how everybody feels. I
Yep.
mean,
And also just at the end of the day, it's not only benefiting you, but it's also benefiting your clients because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, they're the ones that are gonna feel more comfortable.
mhm.
Yeah.
So now you introduce them to being more comfortable and you're winning because you got that appointment or those extra appointments.
So,
So
Yeah.
yeah.
It kind of, I mean, it definitely rubbed me wrong, like rubbed me the wrong way. Like when I first read the message, that's
oh,
why I
for
was like,
sure.
I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna think about how I'm gonna respond to this.
I
And
like that though, how she's like, kill them with kindness,
Yeah.
yeah, and I typically do that. That's what like she was like, just do that, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I thought about just not responding at all. And then she was like, no, go back and like just, be yourself, be your true authentic self. And if
Right.
you want to kill them with kindness, then just go ahead and do that.
See, and I don't understand how artists that have been doing this for a while would bash on someone that's just starting though. Because I
Yeah.
used to get it too, you know? And instead of saying like something helpful, it's always something negative. Like what do they call it? Scratchers. Always
Mhm.
bag on scratchers. Well, someone that's trying to learn, you know. I think one helpful hint would just fucking help a lot better.
Yeah. True.
So one thing that I wanted to ask you is, what would you tell someone that is trying to get into this industry, that's barely starting, right, and to tattoo, and in an industry that's mostly dominated by men, right? What would you tell that female artist specifically?
I would say just focus on your mindset
Mm-hmm.
and making sure that you're not putting too much meaning onto what people say to you. Because I think I've mentioned before, I've gotten countless messages of people just being really negative,
Mm-hmm.
for lack of a better word. Um, And oftentimes I would just sit with the message and like if it was really bothering me, I would ask myself like, why is it bothering me so much?
Yeah.
And I kind of came to the conclusion like it's bothering me because I think some part of me believes what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just staying true to yourself and making sure that you know why you're doing what you're doing. And if you're really passionate about it, just keep going and things will turn out pretty good.
It's good. It's a good answer. But um, I think we just had some incidents too with like, I feel like female artists get hit with different challenges than male artists, right? Obviously, there's a lot of I guess.
I think the challenges that they get would just be
Well, I mean, what I was trying to say is like I was trying to put it in a nice way, but just put it out there like clients hitting on female artists and just making appointments just because they're a female and they want to hit on that girl, right?
mm,
So I feel like that's something you really, as a female artist, have to learn how to maneuver around and just.
yeah. How would you? Because I mean, I've never got hit on. So being a
Well,
woman,
I'm just kidding.
Actually, I think my clients are, for the most part, I don't think I've had any problems with my clients like being inappropriate or
mm,
anything like that. I would say in the beginning, I'd get messages like from people, not necessarily like serious about booking an appointment, but just like trying to talk to me through
right,
DMs. And
mhm,
I would shut it down right away. Like, this is a business page, tattoos only. If that's not what you want, then
right.
But did
go
you
on your
feel like
merry way.
that's something you really have to learn where you're changing your mindset as well?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I think, especially being a woman, I have to be super stern. Like I think even in my messages, I had one client tell me like, "Oh wow, you're so professional,"
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I have to be.
Fucking right, I was.
Yeah, and I feel like as a woman, I have to make sure that I am extremely professional.
Mm-hmm.
No emojis, no nothing. If I'm messaging a guy, because I don't want them to look into like one sentence and be like, "Oh, she's into me," kind of
Right.
thing. So
mhm.
I feel like I have to overcompensate and be extra professional
Yeah.
when messaging a guy.
So yeah, that's a good little tip right there. Just being more professional through messages. As
Yeah,
guys and
because
girls,
Definitely.
people read messages differently.
yeah, they
You
put
know?
their own tone behind the
Yeah.
message.
Yeah, so I'm like
Yeah,
making sure I use apostrophes,
she's like
commas,
hella
periods.
periods.
She puts a clown emoji by accident. Oh, she thinks I'm funny.
You're a clown. No, or if I get a message where it seems like it's coming off kind of weird, like I won't reply.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
So any other tips for artists that were in your shoes previously to being at the shop? So in an environment where you were at, um, where you're basically by yourself.
I would say get out of that environment for sure. I know there are a lot of people who think that working alone is a lot better, just because of like the toxic environment that I guess is like the norm, in other tattoo shops.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I mean, for sure, at least for me, that was what kind of deterred me from working at a shop in the beginning, because I'm like, oh, I don't want to work in a toxic environment like that. Um, but obviously, there are shops like this that don't have that toxicity. So I would just say get out of that environment and work with other people, other creatives to elevate your own work, because I think that's the only way to really grow as an artist. Just be surrounded by other artists where you guys can just bounce off ideas. And I think the friendly competition is definitely a plus.
So, is there something you're trying to do now that will better your tattooing? Is there like certain things that you have changed on your daily, schedule or life that you feel like this will better my tattooing?
Yes. So before, when I was dealing with like that imposter syndrome, which I still deal with, I think I just deal with it differently, shifting my mindset. Um, I stopped following other artists because I found myself constantly comparing my work to them. But now I decided to, and I think we were talking about this, I decided to start following other artists so that I can look at their work for inspiration
Mm-hmm.
instead of comparing my artwork to them.
Hmm. That's a
Yeah.
big one.
So that's something that I've started doing, and just looking at all of your work too, like going around
Mhm.
asking what you guys are doing, how you're doing it and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like my timeline is just tattoos.
Yeah, same here.
Mine too. Mine's tattoos and guinea pigs.
Yeah. I was like thinking the other day, I was like, I think I was talking to Tony. I was like, yo, you ever think about like, what do normal people use Pinterest for?
What do people use Pinterest for?
Yeah, like I
DIY projects.
yeah, that's what one of his clients told us. Like, yeah, we like search how to basically change around the living room and things like that. I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's crazy though. Oh, my light is on. I was wondering why my pocket was getting hot. I was like, so right now, this is the beginning of your journey from starting at a shop, really finding yourself in a really professional, or not really professional, but because you're already professional, but more professional environment. What do you expect, or what are your plans or goals in the next 5 years as an artist and personal? Just to help people out.
Personal, I would say mindset. I feel like I keep going back to that, but I think it's so important
Mm-hmm.
having a positive mindset. Um, and not just like think that the world is rainbows and sunshine, but just knowing that you're gonna have challenges, and what makes life, I think, worth living is overcoming those small challenges. Like I think knowing that there's always gonna be a light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like mindset is super, super important. That's something that I'm working on right now. Because I deal with anxiety and depression. I feel like that's not really something that I talk about too much. Um, but learning to deal with that, I would say, is definitely a goal for me
Mm-hmm.
for the next 5 years. Um, and professionally, I want to say that I want to travel more. I haven't traveled to tattoo at all, and do expos. I have not done one yet. So
September.
I know I'm excited for
Gotta
that.
try Golden State.
So travel, do more expos, kind of get a little more exposure, and meet other artists. I feel like I haven't really had the opportunity to meet other artists. So I think that's definitely a big one for me.
Yeah, that's a really good thing to do because just network. I mean, like at the expo, we're just walking around networking with people and really meeting them, and I feel like without even knowing, you're kind of bouncing ideas back to each other, right? Because I've gotten a few tips from the expos where I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this now. That's good. I mean, if you want to travel, you're in the perfect spot. I mean, I'm one of the ones that travels the most here. And I usually try to take whoever wants to go. Romeo's been with us to Philly. Actually, that's when he first started tattooing, right?
Yeah, that's fun.
He went as an apprentice
Oh,
to
no
just
way.
go help us, and I was like, he asked me, "Can I just tattoo one?" I was like, "All right, go for it."
Yeah, that was cool.
Oh, nice.
Snuck one in. That was
Yeah.
the highlight of my trip.
Yeah, but yeah, hopefully next year we'll be traveling more. I do want to go back to Philly. We got a few clients there, and then see what else we can do. So hopefully you can tag along for that.
Oh, definitely.
Any tips that you want to give to a person that's barely starting in a shop?
Barely starting in a shop.
Because like you basically went to 2 shops, right?
Yeah, well, it was like a private studio.
Okay, so you kind of have like the you know what it's like to be in a private studio and now kind of like a public studio. So any tips for someone that's barely starting?
Find the biggest fucking guy there and knock him out. No, I'm just kidding.
Who's the biggest guy here?
Yeah.
Tony? No, I would say just learn to take criticism. Yeah, learn to take criticism. I'm definitely the kind of person that takes things kind of hard, and I think it's because I tend to overthink about a lot of things.
Mhm.
Which again is something that I'm working on, shifting my mindset a little bit. But yeah, just learning to take criticism, and knowing that, at least like from you guys, I know that it's coming from a place of
Good.
yeah, it's coming from a good place, that you guys want to help me improve. Like, we're all a team here. I think it's like the saying goes, like, a team is only, or what is it? A chain is only as strong as its weakest
Mhm.
link. So just learning to take criticism and using it to grow and improve.
That was good. I like that because it's true. Like, I think
A lot of people don't know how to take criticism. Artists especially, like, because we all
hard.
have our own style, and
Yeah.
you're like you said earlier, like, I like the way I'm doing things,
Yeah.
but sometimes like a little improvement, like you could improve it and still do it your own style.
I want to add to that though. I think learning how to take criticism and learn how to give it.
Mm.
Because some people would try to say it in a way where they mean good, but it doesn't come out.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
See, and I find myself not saying anything because I'm like, sometimes I feel like my voice doesn't really matter all that much,
Mm.
just because of like the experiences that I've had. But I feel like here, like with you guys asking me like what I think, I'm like, oh shit, they care.
Yeah.
So I'm a little more willing to offer, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like we could all learn from each other, no matter how many experience or how many years of experience we have.
Yeah. True. Because at the end of the day, we're all artists. We all view things in our art way. So it's cool to get a different input.
I think one thing I do like about here is that we're always studying. Have you noticed that?
Mhm.
We always study something, and then we'll post it on the chat. Check this out.
Yeah, I really like that. I feel like watching you paint and then you telling me that you're painting. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna go home and paint. I feel
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
something-
pressured
that's
to,
something that's
you know.
I love. Like I remember, I think it was 2 weeks ago where I was walking around
Mhm.
and you just see like a bunch of art everywhere. Like
Mhm.
Megan's art's over here. I had my book open because I was working on it earlier. Brian has his pen drawings out. You know,
Mm.
of course, this fool has his beast paintings around and stuff. But that's I love seeing that. Like that.
Honestly, it makes my heart so happy seeing all that.
Yeah, it's
So I'm
cool.
trying to take
It's like
Rom-
walking into a Michael's. You're like, get all
I'm
excited.
trying to take Romeo painting.
I'm gonna do it.
Oh, come on,
I'm
bro.
going to.
Reno's already waiting for you, dog. So like he better be here next week.
You
Yeah.
told him?
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
it's almost like he wants to
Fuck.
come, but he doesn't know. It's like he just has to show up one day out of the month.
No, yeah. I mean, when I did the seminar with you, it was just pure happiness. Oil painting,
Mhm.
just a little, a little drink, and I was like, yeah.
Dude, James is killing it right now. He's all
James
been
is
there.
beast.
Yeah, he fucking went in there not knowing shit. Now he's fucking doing this big ass painting. Yeah, I probably wouldn't do that big.
James is the exception because he's good at everything he touches, art wise. I'm like, damn. No, but yeah, that painting's dope. You plan on painting or any new drawings or anything?
I'm still working on an oil painting.
Nice.
I do like small things here and
Where's
there.
it at?
Acrylics, huh?
Where's it at? I haven't seen it.
At home.
That means it's not real. I'm just kidding.
I posted it on my feed.
It's photoshopped. Nah, I think we had a really good podcast today. I think we really went more in depth on your story. It felt like we got to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
For sure. And then I hope
Sorry, I
your
was
clients got a little
nervous.
bit more information on you. Because sometimes there's things that clients want to ask and they want to know, but it's or even new artists that are coming up that you say are looking up to you where you're at right now.
Yeah, it's crazy the amount of messages that I receive from like people who are starting on their journey or thinking about starting,
Yeah.
and giving tell me all these beautiful messages, and I'm like, I don't think I'm doing much, but I mean, it's really nice to receive those messages.
Like we said, there's always gonna be people underneath you that want to be where you're at. And I think if you could pave the road for them to make it easier for them, that's the best thing you could do. Educating people on how to get better instead of pushing them down. It's always good, especially for artists.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm always offering free knowledge. Like when people message me, I'm more than willing to respond because I'm like, I didn't have that, so I want to
Yeah.
be able to offer that.
Yeah, dude. It sucks when someone's just talking shit to you.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, tell me
I
about it.
think we all been through it. I mean, huh?
I said, tell me about it.
Yeah. We all been through it. I mean, I bet you even too, Romeo, right? You've had artists like push you down.
Yeah, remember that last time you were like, no.
I
You're
did it
just
with
talking
love.
shit.
I did it with love, dog.
It's all
You want to
good.
let it out right now, bro? We'll go. We're live right now. Let's go.
I know. I
Break
know.
out the mat.
I probably have less stamina than Josh, bro. To be honest.
Oh no. All right. Well, if you guys have anything else to say, I think we had a pretty good show today.
That's cool. Yeah. I'll close it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. If I know me personally, it was cool to see you talk about mainly like your mental health and stuff and how you wanted to like progress not only as an artist but as an individual. It's very inspiring. So I'm sure any viewers out there that are watching, you got to got to know a little bit more about Luz. And if you guys have any more questions, feel free to contact her on her Instagram or even in the YouTube comments. That being said, see you guys on the next one and hope you guys have a good one.